Ready, set, go.
Go.
White boy summer.
White boy summer, black queen summer. We're talking Asian girl summer. We're talking brown boy summer. Yeah. Let them know. It's gonna be
love to everybody.
Hey, if you think that's not a black queen summer, it's only white boys. Do you know me? Do you know Chet Hanks?
See, we're gonna get to a fine line where we keep saying black queens and then we'll just sound like we're pandering or something.
I know, yeah.
That's why I just don't say it.
Yeah, and saying white boy summer is so dangerous.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, when someone said that white boy summer sounds like a threat, I was like, it really does.
If you have to explain it, I mean, it's not gonna catch on, is it?
But see, if you're oblivious to the idea of cancellation,
Yeah.
Chet Hanks,
Yeah.
then like
Is he oblivious to it?
completely.
Oh yeah.
Completely,
I like that.
Yeah,
I do like that.
So like, I'll fuck with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, welcome my humble abode.
Yeah, I know.
This is
the
the man cave of my
Turn
auntie.
the fucking music off for 1 second.
My-
Thanks, Kanye.
Thanks, Kanye. My auntie gave me the sign for the shed.
Oh wow, man cave.
Thank you.
I don't like the whole idea of a man cave though.
Neither do I.
It sounds like very
Getting rid of the patriarchy.
Toxic
We're breaking that down, are we?
It does.
Yeah.
But it's
But
like,
like, then you like the essence of a man cave. Though.
yeah, did you ever see do you know what's her name from Modern Family, Sofia Vergara?
Mm-hmm.
She's married to this guy called Joe Maniscalco or something. You know him from loads of movies. Do you know him? The guy.
That's the
buff guy. Yeah, big buff
the
guy.
Joe
Yeah.
Magnoli or something.
Magnoli or something like
Is
that.
it,
Yeah.
yeah?
But he has a Dungeons and Dragons like proper dungeon in his gaff, right? And he has this like celebrity group that he plays with. The Benioff and Wise, whatever, from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Vince Vaughn, The Big Show. They all come over every Friday.
That's such a weird
That
and
connection.
play, like, oh man, it's so funny.
That is like-
Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine. All of these lads come and play Dungeons and Dragons every Friday in his gaff.
That's the idea of like, you think of the ideal masculine man,
Yeah.
and then you go there. and they're in a Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
They're like, it's like, we're just going down to Joe's basement.
Yeah, and
And
it's
you go
like
down as fucking Dungeons
Sofia
and Dragons.
Vergara, like,
I just
That's
can't
what
imagine
kills me.
the Big Show sitting there.
yeah, oh, he
I
loves
can't,
it.
I can't picture the Big Show sitting anywhere.
And
period.
Sofia Vergara just come down and like give them their snacks and tea and
Hello,
stuff.
Big Show, how are you?
You're like, wow, the fun
Oh, Big
games.
Show,
It's
you
just the
want-
fun.
I have cake pops in the fridge, Big Show.
Yeah, and then she just leaves. She says it's great. It's great crack.
Oh man, what a way to kick
Yeah.
it off. I'm a bit rusty from this, you know.
Yeah, it's
I
our-
haven't did this shit in like
It's
4
our
months.
first
In
in-person
person.
one
Yes.
since, I don't know, social distance. First,
Yeah,
we
of
need
course.
to make it clear. Ben is still a part of this podcast.
Yeah,
Ben
very
just lives
much
very
is.
far away.
Yeah.
So anybody
Yeah.
who's wondering where Ben is all the time, he's still we love
But you have to
Ben.
emphasize too, he lives far away, and his Wi-Fi like
Yeah.
like his Wi-Fi isn't the cleanest either. So like we have
Yeah.
to
So shout out to Ben first and foremost.
just keep it simple. Boy, you'll
Yeah.
be back though. You'll be back.
So today we just decided that we're gonna stick with COVID protocols and stay 2 meters apart because we love COVID and stuff, don't we?
Yeah,
We hate
yeah.
COVID, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, our guest today is a man who has always asked to be on the podcast.
I have.
He loves podcasts. That's one thing.
I really do love podcasts.
And that's one thing that me and Dave found interesting was you love your radio and stuff like that, but as Dave was saying with the agenda thing, it was like, what was the difference between like the podcast and kind of being on radio? What do you
because
feel
for
is such a
context,
big
me and him
difference?
both did the agenda
Yeah.
thing last week. Like, that's probably like our second podcast, is it, with the agenda thing?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I've
as
only
well.
done one actually with the agenda, but
yeah.
it's it's very different. Like radio and podcasting is completely different. There's like when you're on the radio, especially the radio I do, it's like chart music radio, which means like you only have a couple of seconds, like really within like I'd say 2 minutes in total throughout the entire hour that you're going to be talking. So you have to fit everything into that. It's just like the shortest possible way you can say things and get stuff across.
So do you think there's like a kind of void in creativity yourself?
I think like sometimes they don't do it to themselves. Radio in general, like it's just the way it's gone all over the world. It's just the way.
Everyone says radio is such a dying art. Do you believe
it is?
that?
Like it's a dying medium in many ways. Like there is, of course, ever since kids have like got in and can flick on, their Bluetooth to the car, like, and play whatever tune they want. There's no kind of real need for like the young generation coming up to have radio. But I think it won't die because there's still so many people out there that love radio. Like I love radio for the the parts that you can't get from listening to songs on Bluetooth. You know, you can't get exactly live what's happening right now. Know that someone else in the world is there on the line chatting back to you live. Like, that's special, you know. That's pretty cool. It's that you can always flick it on. You flick the telly on, there's a lot of stuff that's not live on all the time, you know. You're not really sure what. You flick the radio on, it's always someone in there, you know. And that's cool.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to the fact that, like, there is still that creative element there, because
100%, yeah.
Like, I always wonder, even if I see you on radio or something like that, or I see the stuff you post up on Instagram or whatever, like, there's a lot of improv required for that.
Oh yeah,
like,
100%.
You are handed a script, like a schedule.
The only thing with radio is like, what I find is, whenever someone complains with radio, it's always that you never have the final say. There's always someone that you need to get the go ahead from, who is above you on each thing that you do.
Yeah.
So that could be limited in a way.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to take what you're given with in all situations. Like, anyone who does TV shows, you know, punditry on sports channels, anything like that, you know, they have someone who has to give them, you know, the things that they need to hit off of. You need to kind of sell things for the station. You need to, like, have a competition, whatever's running like that. You know, you have to kind of stick to that. But you do get given freedom to be creative, like, and, you know, do what you can do, showcase what makes you different to anyone else, you know, because otherwise they just have, you know, music playing on automation. There is a reason for radio DJs at the end of the day, like, so that's kind of what they do at the moment.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like, even like the whole Irish spectrum as a whole, though, do you think it'd help, like, here, say, if it wasn't as outdated? Like, you can't really employ it, like, if you don't want to.
But I think it's
like,
down to demographics as well.
Yeah,
we don't listen to radio. It's older people generally who are listening to the radio, so you kind of have to fit that. People who are in their cars.
Well, like, if we're being realistic, like, older people are gonna phase out. Like, that's an at least morbid way possible.
Yeah, they're gonna die.
I mean, that is the problem that you face. It's like, when this generation does pass and the next generation coming in, how do we get their attention and give them a reason to tune in? And I think a lot of program directors, you know, all over the country and in all over many countries, need to kind of look at that and see, how are we going to do it, you know. And they do try, like, they're moving towards, like, involving a lot of social media and things. I mean, that has to be a massive part of radio now, because it's just what the world runs on. But I mean, it's going to happen with all industries. Television is dying, radio is dying, like, when you look at it in that sort of a thing. But there's always going to be room for it, you know. There's always going to be people who like the simplicity of it, you know, and like, that's kind of the way it'll go. But of course, streaming services are going to take over, like, for television shows, just like Spotify's taken over for radio shows and stuff like that. It's just, you know, people will go for the accessible option, but there's many people that will stick with what they love.
Like, I still find the idea of radio comforting. Like, whenever I think
100%.
back to radio, I think back to it when I need to go to sleep. So I put on 2FM.
Yeah, 100%.
I wake up in my morning and I want to get my day
used to
started.
always put on the phone shot to go to sleep at night.
That's what I needed.
Yeah.
So I needed that. But it's like, would it be interesting, though, to have some sense of reformatting, or are we just investing in more, like I just see stuff like the UK. Like, look what the UK are doing. We've had this conversation before. It's like, they put Chunks and Philly at the forefront of everything right now. And that's not an accident. Like, that's obviously tactical to show, like, the 100%.
And I mean, like, there's benefits to that, but there's also a lot of downsides to that, because like not that, like, over in the country there's people doing stuff like that, and it's brilliant. I think they should get opportunities, but I know here in this country, like, there is a bit of a problem with the celebrity. You know, when we create a new celebrity, we just push them right up to the front, and they skip the queue of people who've been working in the industry, you know, busting their asses really for years. Like, there's some really, really talented radio DJs on RTE that'd be on the weekends, they'd be on at night time and stuff like that. They've been there for years, you know, working all sorts of shifts. And then Greg O'Shea comes into Love Island for 2 weeks, wins the show with Amber, dumps her anyway.
That's like, he's born as
he's
fuck,
like,
too,
but like that kind of, it's even with podcasting, where it's like, you have these people podcasting for years. Then Michelle Obama says he wants to make a podcast. Goes straight to the number one on Spotify. And like,
you know what's happening here, you know, but I'll say no names.
I'll say no names. I think it's just, I think it's ridiculous. Like, you know, like, skip the queue completely of people who've, like, dedicated their lives to their craft and getting better and better. And like, he comes in and, like, wasn't even a particularly memorable character on the show or anything like that. And then, like, right away, RT pushed him for the breakfast show on 2FM, like, and that's what they put him on for a couple of weeks, even if it was for him to just cover while your man was away. But it just didn't sit right with me. Like, that really annoys me. You think you're beating Greg
O'Shea in a radio off?
In a radio off, I think I haven't beat in any of the physical competition. I think he would whoop my ass. But radio, I think I haven't. It's the one thing I think I could beat him at.
I find that Donny boring.
Yeah,
I find him boring.
Yeah, but
like,
it's pretty privileged.
no, it's
pretty-
it's love. It's status privilege. It's pretty privileged. Everything
pretty privileged. Yeah.
molded in. You know, like it's the ideal Irish guy. I get it on face value, yes, but like. The guy is boring. Like I even seen this thing. He's like, oh yeah, just studying for my law exam. Yeah, there's courses here free now for 20 quid. I was like, man, like be a bit of a personality. Like the guy came out of Love Island and he didn't want to do.
Yeah, but when you're that hot, you don't need personality.
It's true. It's true.
Like, you need it to be sustainable to some extent. Like we are seeing people like we
Do
like.
you?
I think you do.
There's a lot of boring people who are very famous and very successful.
I think if we're going off tangent, like say with Love Island for instance, like everybody goes into Love Island, like signing up with the idea of signing up. I want to be an influencer, but then they get it, and then they don't know how to do it. And we're seeing that now more. It's more evident in like in the pandemic and all that. Everybody has to be creative. Like what's this shit with the Amberflex thing? Have you seen about the Amberflex?
Amberflex, no.
Yeah. So basically, not the way we have trainers right now that condemn like fitness plans and DVDs and workout videos are so outdated.
Programs.
Yeah. So basically, Amber's like coming up with this DVD fitness plan. She did the whole marketing ploy. Where she
Amber, yeah.
She put in. Yeah, we know.
Yeah. We know Amber. We know Amber.
We know Amber. Like,
I don't know.
Yeah, alright, yeah.
You didn't watch it.
Yeah. I'll stop. No, so she like put on a stone and like. That was the whole marketing play. She put on a stone and then go, oh no, put on a stone and all this stuff. Right? And then like, I put on a stone and also then she goes, oh yeah, she's saying she has to slim down. Then like a month later, lo and behold, she slimmed down.
Was she doing the tummy teas?
Yeah. Like she's attributing it to like, oh yeah, I did this Amberflex thing that basically entails like you do her DVD workout, which is all the like putting your leg, all this stuff, and then like on her Amber pizzas or Amber foods, and I'm just like it's like there's I don't know I don't like the premise of it either, because you have trainers that come out every day and say them things are a load of bollocks, but also the fact that like it just made me think, have people run out of ideas, like even influencers and creatives and stuff like that, like influencers
yeah, but no doubt about it, she probably still getting a bag from it.
Oh yeah, she getting her bag, baby.
I'm not arguing that
Why,
at all.
like,
absolutely getting a bag at the end of the day. It's just
beating the dead horse is not a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean that like I don't really have a problem with that, to be honest. Like it's the Greg O'Shea stuff that's what I have a problem with.
You really just don't fuck with Greg O'Shea.
Listen, man, I don't got beef with many people, but Greg O'Shea, if you're listening to this podcast, let's actually have a physical fight. No, he's beating my ass. He is.
That man plays 7.
Oh man, I've seen his body. It's like he's molded.
Don't say that. Why'd you say
We've all seen it, baby. We watched Love Island. He's molded from stone.
You can't say in one where Eric break down the man cave stigma and then say, oh, you can't say another man has a nice body or he's good.
No,
looking,
with the way he said it.
I would have said it the exact same way too.
You
would have said, I've seen his body.
We've seen his body. We've seen his body. We've seen his body.
Yeah.
I've never seen his body. Let me see how jacked he is. Alright, continuing on. So, I think that you're lasting maybe one round with Greg.
If even, Jesus.
Yeah.
One round. How long is the round?
Off, yeah. And then like.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and the radio off.
Bringing it back to that, then.
He's getting smoked.
Does that discourage you to an extent? Or do you feel like, is it discouragement or is it motivation?
It's motivation for me. You know, it's you know, we have to go in the right direction, and we're the generation coming up that have to change it. And if they want to put the faith in the young generation coming up, and they want to give us the wheels, good. You know, there's some brilliant DJs. David Hammond out there, good friend of mine. He's won Radio DJ of the Year twice. He's doing brilliant stuff every day. Jazz Keen, another great friend of mine, is in the Zoo crew, constantly doing stuff all the time, trying to, you know, push the whole new wave radio form out there. So I think it's in a good place. I think if people trust in us and you know, this next generation coming up, and do it the right way, you know, with the right, give them the tools, let them have their creative freedom, then I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, because I feel like there's a certain extent where there's only the corporation can do so much. Whereas like you see these people on TikTok now, and I'm like, these are radio DJs on TikTok.
Corvette, right on the motherfucking jet, right?
That guy is making that radio station popping just from his TikTok.
Yeah.
You can.
I mean, I was doing that for a while, TikTok, and I was loving it, man. I got like up to 5,000 followers or something like that. But
yeah,
I fell off so fast. Like literally, as soon as I stopped going on the app, it was so hard for me to get back onto it.
That's one thing. If you fall off for a week, you've missed out.
Oh, and its algorithm too. Like they'll identify you haven't been on the app. Yeah, and then I'm not gonna push it for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's just how it works.
But I was doing I was flat out in the talk. But I made a few masterpieces towards the end that got no views, and I think that's what soured me. I did, do you know when people are doing the remix of WAP and then like changing it to a different song? I did WAP with the lad in the bike saying, "You come on, Bricker, go on." And man, it was brilliant. And I did this dance to it, like, and it was like a different dance in each one. And when I finished it, I was like, this is the most hilarious thing I've ever done. Of all the work that I have, this is brilliant.
There's one thing that you can take from this. Go follow Sean on TikTok.
Go find that. It's got nothing, like no likes. But I left it up because I was like, I was actually like, I would usually delete this, but I'm like, I can't believe it. I can't believe I've got no attention with this. Like I've done shit ones. I did one and it got 150,000 views once. It was like me I was literally in LMFM saying, I wonder, I haven't done a TikTok in a few days, I'll do one real quick. And I just do one TikTok, one couple of seconds, whatever's on my head. I was like, I haven't had sex in a long time. And to be honest, I don't really miss it at all.
Sex is always going to get views.
Woman, and then that was it. And then I clicked on, there's all these guys using the sound and everything. Like some guys getting thousands of views with my sound. I'm like, this is not even him. This is my stuff.
That's
TikTok. That's TikTok 101.
Man, TikTok-toe, man. TikTok-toe. That's what they say.
I don't think they say that anyway.
I think they do.
You gonna continue?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, guys.
I was like, what's going on?
I'm sorry.
I was like,
I can cut it out.
I just want to inform everyone here, I'm not an alcoholic. They haven't just come to my house and I've started drinking today. It's a very special
You started
week.
drinking earlier before
This is I've encouraged David to join me. We're on the WrestleMania weekend, baby. It's happening tonight and tomorrow night. Our second Mania in lockdown. Woo!
I have a bottle of wine in the itinerary, maybe two. Maybe 2 bottles.
The wine's gonna make me sleepy. I can't sleep. It only starts at 1 a.m. and I have to keep going.
The wine makes me feel sexy, man.
I've got to stick in the tinnies, I think.
Yeah. So me and Dave were chatting about the whole. He says to me, he's like, "What?" I was like, "What questions do you have for Sean?" And he said, "I want to ask him about dating." The dating scene. And I said, okay.
And you know why as well? It's just because if I'm gonna get one guy that's gonna be transparent,
I will. I'll be completely honest.
Because I ask everybody in the group, I'm just purely out of curiosity. Because I'm a person now in a damn near 4-year relationship. Yeah. So forgive me if all I want to know is the landscape. Like, you know what I mean? I just want to know the landscape.
So set the scene. What's it like?
Hard, baby. It's hard. This year has been tough, I gotta tell you. I got to go on a few dates throughout the year, scattered throughout the year, the very little bit of time that we had open in the pub. But I mean,
break all of it down to me. All of it.
See, am I the
text and the break all of it down to me.
Okay. So, well, usually it would start with, I need to know if I'm so deeply this year afraid of rejection because I just can't deal with any more. Only messing. I'm never afraid of rejection. I have been rejected twice today already. It's good start. This year I have thrown it out the window. I mean, I've just I've been watching a lot of stuff about just getting out of your comfort zone as well. You know, for a while I went on no dates. Like for me, we went from secondary school, having the crack all the time, every day, okay? I then go to college, had one great year at DCU, having all the crack, center of all the band all the time, always involved in stuff. Then, all of a sudden, I got my dream job working in radio, but it's at night time, it's in a different county, and I'm isolated, you know? Like I am this year, you know? But like this was me experiencing this in 2019 or whatever, and no, I was 19, it was actually, Jesus, before that. But anyway, up there, I just went through that entire year without like seeing people on a normal schedule or anything like that, and I kind of just got crazy lonely, you know, and I didn't text anybody. I never like attempted to go on any dates. I really never saw anyone my own age. And then I started working in FM104 on the weekends. So then I'd have this at night time and FM104 at the weekends. Got to work in 2 different stations, which I'm still doing now. When I started doing that, next thing I'm around people my own age. I'm like, oh my God, working in Dublin at the weekends, going out in Dublin at the weekends again. And then I'm finally like, okay, I'm back on the scene, you know. So basically it was as if I was in a relationship for ages, but then I got single. And I've never been in a relationship. I've, as you boys know, I've never really been seeing anyone, to be completely honest. I'm 23 years of age.
But that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Well, in my head, it's not a bad thing, and I'm completely comfortable with that because I've seen, a lot of mates of mine get into relationships for the sake of being in a relationship, and I think that's ridiculous. Like, because it's never gonna end. I'm like, that to me is so alien. I'm like, how the hell could you commit to someone? Say that you're gonna be so happy with their company, like for the next little while, but even though you're not, like.
But there's some people who can only function like we know.
People who can only function in relationships.
Being in relationships.
And that's good too.
Validation,
some people do need that, and I think that's great, But I'm very happy in my own company, and I'm happy to, like, in my head, it's just if I meet a girl who when I'm out with them or in their company, I'm like, I enjoy your company just as much as I would enjoy if I was out with a mate right now, having my day out. I want to find a mate, like first and foremost.
I think that's the most important thing is being
friends with someone. Otherwise, what's the point? Like, in my eyes, relationships I'm never seeing in the short term. Like, if I'm gonna get into a relationship, I'm gonna marry you. Like, I want to spend enough time with you.
In the next few years, if
why else do you bother investing your time into it? I've always been selfish in that regard. I've always, I know, and that's needed too. Like, I've never been through a breakup, like, which is bad. It's like I've never had that, like, heartbreak, and I don't know what it's gonna be like if I do.
I think it's the older you get. I think, personally speaking, where it's like when you're in a relationship already very young age, and then you get out of that relationship, you're still like. You haven't learned anything because you haven't been single from 17 to 20. So you don't know what any of that life is like.
Yeah. And I've had a lot of friends who came out of long-term relationships and they've no clue what to do. And I have to kind of tutor them on that and be a shoulder to cry on for a lot of mates of mine. But in my head, if I'm going to invest the time not on myself, like what you have to do, you have to be selfless when you're in a relationship. There's two people in it, you can't just make every decision for yourself and be completely selfish, which I am all the time, which has benefited me greatly because I never have to worry about anyone else. I can do whatever the hell I want. It's a great freedom. But at the same time, I'd love to have someone there who I was, with all the time, enjoyed their company so much, and on my lonely days, didn't feel lonely.
And that's one thing where it's like the kind of separation between the two, which I always say to my friends, stuff like that, where it's people who prioritize, say, their partner above themselves, whereas like they only find happiness when they're with their partner. That's a very bad situation to be in. Yeah. Whereas like you need to separate being happy by yourself and being happy with the partner.
And it's like the perfect example is our friend Gareth and Hannah. And Hannah is one of my best mates now. Like, she's literally part of the family. And Gareth, I couldn't even breathe there for a sec.
You're really emotional about this.
Yeah, I am so emotional. When Hannah came into our group all those years ago, she made the effort with us to be our mate, and that goes such a long way within. Like, that's how the only way relationships work is if, like, your mates with them, they all, like, are comfortable.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't think that you have to be friends with other people's friends.
Yeah, maybe.
But I feel like when there's such a focal point in that group, it definitely helps.
The way our group was, like, we were very, very close knit.
Yeah, not everybody hangs out as much as you guys would.
We were seeing each other like me and Gareth, for example, would see each other almost every single day. And for me, if a girl came into the relationship, like, of course she doesn't have to do anything, but if she did come into a relationship with Gareth and she was just, dismissive of his best friend and like that, I hang out with him every day and she's never going to make an effort from the get-go, and there's nothing like that. That's red flag. Like,
I've had friends that have made our friends leave group chat and stuff like that because they don't want them doing that shit. But the only thing to realize is when someone's doing that, it's like, you understand that if they break up with a person, that for me, I'm just like, I'm gonna accept them the way I would. I'm not gonna hold this against them. I know what it's like when someone is being manipulative and doing that type of thing.
100%.
So the best thing to do is just keep it normal.
Yeah. Ever see how long
it goes a long way. It goes a long way, and I think that's how, like, you look at their relationship, how long that's lasted, and I think a good part of that is just how well their mates get on. Her mates, our mates, like, they've always incorporated that into their relationship. They're like, I have my time, you have your time, and that's the way it should be. I mean, that's like the part, and that's how they're so happy, and they've been together for years, and that's what I kind of base it off. I'm like, right, get me a Gareth and Hannah situation. That's what I'd love, and I just haven't found it just yet. But this dating situation, Dave, I'll break down for you, okay? So
start from first dates. Start all the way back from first dates. That's the epitome of dating scene in Ireland.
That's a long road.
Yeah, break down to me first date.
So
supposedly everyone says that shit's fake. Like, they make you do the same scene like 3 times.
Well, they do make you repeat stuff if you've messed up or something like that. But I mean, it's like on the show, bro. Like, like they literally like they give you enough rope to hang yourself if you're an idiot. Like I was on the show with
You're waiting for the cut, like
I was on the show and I was amazed how I came out looking like some hero on this show, you know, because I'm there in a suit. I'm like my thing was I'm a radio DJ and I did a show at the time called Radio Romance, and I was like, I'm on a show on Radio Romance, and I like did a request for like on the stage, and I was like, I'm a douchebag. But I was the third douchiest guy there, man. There was this other guy who's like from down the country, big personal trainer guy who had just done like a season in Ibiza, and he wanted to go do another season in Ibiza.
At least you're not that guy.
You know, I wasn't that guy, and I wasn't the third guy, the main guy. This guy was he was a male model and was like he walked like McGregor. He did like a McGregor like kind of walk.
Irish dons have no game.
Oh man, and so and like we were kind of able to write our own answers, and these boys put in some bad stuff.
I think it's like you've been around like these situations where you're like on a public stage and stuff like that. Once people get the first thing on camera, they want to be completely different. They just want to play up to the camera all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And we were all doing like we all had to try and play up to the camera, and Al Porter was the host, and like it was just gas.
I remember Al Porter.
But in the end, I got the date, and I was amazed, you know. And
where did you just go?
Man, we went to Photo Wildlife in Photo Wildlife Park in Cork.
Cork.
And we had to be in the car together the entire ride there, man.
So that's a 4-hour journey.
So first, the driver.
That might have been where you decided if you like her or not.
Yeah,
surely.
Did you get chauffeured?
First, lovely car. Arrives at my house here in Balbriggan first. Then we go to Tala and collect the producer of the show, and then we go over to Kildare and collect.
What's the situation? What's the seating situation? You and her in the back, him in the front.
Me and her in the back, the producer in the front seat, and the driver
car
in the front
size?
seat. Normal car.
Okay.
You're sitting this side, she's sitting this side, middle seat empty.
Yeah.
Okay.
I fuck with that. I thought I wasn't like I'm just picturing this
like
little
a Toyota
Yaris.
No,
listen, you're just crammed up on each other like.
We had great crack, and like same situation. Like we went on a great date. We had to do some awkward as hell things, like record us holding hands and asking for a date, and oh man, some of it was bad. But like we had a great night. Then the two of us went out in Cork after we all finished filming and everything. Went to a pub where there was bands playing and everything. It was great crack. But again, just didn't work out. Like at the end, like I just the two of us weren't really interested in each other. Some article came out saying I did like Sean, but not enough to date him. And I said, oh wow, it was in the Evening Herald.
Evening Herald is talking shit about you.
Evening Herald talking shit about me. I said this is the start of something beautiful.
Alright. Interesting.
You don't have to use a fucking laptop.
No, see, you have a different Mac to me. So
this guy.
Oh yeah.
You have some dating stories for us.
Me, dating stories. Well, you see, anything apart from that, it would just be maybe we follow, maybe we meet on Tinder. You know, maybe something like that happen.
Do you go from Tinder and then ask them for their Instagram straight away?
Not straight away.
How many messages deep?
Tinder is one of the worst apps to use. It's so aesthetically unpleasing.
Word in the street is that Hinge is the best one going now.
I'm on them all. Bumble, Hinge. I was on dating whatever Match.com. I was on that for.
Really I know. I commend you for that.
I know.
I spent like a day on Tinder. I've told a story before on the podcast. Like,
yeah.
Bad.
It's bad. Yeah, but whatever. You know, we link up. Maybe I'll DM. You know.
What's your go-to DM?
I'm very strange. I'm a strange man.
You just throw anything out there, though.
I throw anything out there, like not anything sexual.
Yeah.
That's very predatory. I'll just throw out wild ass shit. I'll talk about what dream I've had last night that was absolutely crazy or something like that. Get a little tester, okay? Get it out there. See if she freaked out and doesn't reply. I'm like probably for the best because.
But why do girls tend to like? If you give the standard text still like screenshot put on Twitter and they'll be like, oh look at this dry guy.
So standard, yeah.
Well, if you send something like
weird and funky, yeah,
unconventional, like they'll still screenshot and go, what's this going on?
That's why I only send voice notes, so you could never, screenshot voice notes.
What? Hold on a second, you might be onto something there.
You can screen record.
See, that's why I'm out of the game.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what I do. Sometimes then go on dates usually revolves around alcohol because I'm very nervous because I haven't been on many dates sober my entire life. And then have a few drinks, have maybe a kiss, maybe no kiss. Sometimes that's very upsetting. I say, okay, that's where this night has gone, and that's the end of the night. Usually one date and done is how I go. And that's not anything to do with the girls. That's all because I'm a freak.
Okay.
I go on a date. I say, wow, what a lovely time.
I love you.
I'm texting the boys. I'm saying, unbelievable day. Everything's great. Wake up the next morning.
Proper fear.
No, I can't. And look for red flags. Maybe there's a red flag, maybe there's not. But regardless, hey, I'm done. Yeah, and then I go back to being lonely by myself for a while.
So, Dave, after that, how do you feel about the dating scene?
Sometimes I DM as well. I just get dunked on. I just reply in. I'd send real hilarious stuff, like really top-notch quality. I'd say something like I'd like sing some songs, put the artist like Hall & Oates or Paul Simon, and they just ignore me completely. I get dunked right on, and I say, cool.
But you miss 100%
of the shots you don't take. That's what I always say.
I nearly forgot to say.
And I saw a TED Talk a couple of years ago.
Mamba mentality.
I saw a TED Talk a couple of years ago. This was back when I was in my home stage, where I was like, right, there was all these different girls my own age, we'd all be in the clubs together, they went to Loretto, I went to at Gillen, proper Romeo and Juliet stories, and I'd
bad boy.
And I saw this TED Talk, and it was like a guy who in one day just like kept like asking people like stuff that they would definitely say no to.
You brought the TED Talk into the home.
Yeah, bro. Just
You're a sick man.
That is disgusting.
I know. They're like,
wait, is it the donut TED Talk?
They were like, listen. They were like, you'll be unafraid of rejection. You won't be afraid of rejection if you get rejected enough times.
Yeah, is it the donut?
I have no idea.
He goes in and he asks.
That's it. Yeah,
he asks for Olympic design donuts. Like he asks for the most weirdest.
But
how does this translate to dating?
I take this to everything in my life. I take it to everything. When I apply for any sort of job, when I was starting out in radio, I was on Freak, and it was digital radio online, and I had no experience at all. I had 8 months in Freak, and I applied for LMFM as well as many other stations that I had interviews for. Was told no, you have to completely become immune to being rejected. So I'm that way with my career, and I'm that way when it comes to the ladies too. I don't care if I get rejected. Okay, cool, fair enough. Let's be friends at the end of it.
You took that into the home. I rate that.
I had that in the home back then, back a couple of years ago. But then I lost it for a while. I lost a lot of confidence in myself. And then I started working for Bingo Loco and in FM 104, being out in town, being with people my own age. And
you kind of have no choice.
You have to come out of your social circle. And then I kind of got it back. But like at the end of the day, I never go out on nights out. Like I would ever look for relationships on nights out, or even like that's just how that's not usually how they start. If it ever happens, brilliant. But most of the time I'm all about focused on having a good night with my friends, because God knows we don't even get that many of them these days. But whenever I am out, it's the least of my concern. A lot of people
that's the only thing they want to do.
And that's the worst people to be around, especially in a night out, is like looking at your mate who's trying to like go up against a girl or anything like that, or like trying to just like bother people the entire time, walking about the place.
Well, what did the Jeep do?
Every single time that man went out, he just wanted to kill somebody.
Yeah, and like, I think if you ever go out with that mindset that you're going out to pull, it's the weirdest person to ever go out on a night out with. Whenever you see that energy, especially at our age, like when you're past the age of 18, it's so weird.
This is back.
This was back when we were a kid. Okay, but like when like I've been out with people at the age of like 21, 22, and they're going out like, oh yeah, who are we gonna pull tonight? Like whatever, and it's just like, grow up, man. Like honest to God, grow up. Like you just have a good night with your mates.
Yeah. I think with what's been going on the past year, I think the mindset will change. On nights out,
it will like.
I think it could be worse.
I'd like to think single dons would like go out and go, I just want to enjoy this night. I haven't had this shit in like a year and a half.
Well, I think it can correlate to you haven't been out kissing people, so this is when people are only going to do that.
That's true too. People could be going freaky.
Like, oh, can't wait to eat the face off guys. They're gonna do the exact same thing, like kind of
sit in the corner and
act like enjoy your night, man.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right. It could be dangerous, but there could be some lessons learned. But like, scumbags gonna be scumbags. They've always been
the fact
like
that everything we've been educated on the past year.
Yeah, but like, there's people who've missed all of that. Like, there's people who have just not seen any of this. Like, they've never that's not even in their social circle. They've not been on Twitter. They've not been on Instagram.
The concept of it's so foreign to
like, if you think like the boys when we were first going to rides discos, like, and there'd be lads slapping girls' arses walking up the stairs, and I was like, oh my god, like maybe I've been sheltered, but this is horrible. Like, and that was when we were real young. Like,
and I went to rides and I didn't know what to do.
I was like, what is this? Like, and all these girls, just everyone walking past the stairs and slap arses, going up, like grabbing girls, just shift them out of nowhere. I was like, oh. But
I went once, man. Because I just didn't know. I didn't know how to move with people. I didn't know like how to because to an extent there was kind of coercion what we used to do. We used to be like, oh, do you want to kiss? Go on. Like, I'll even get your friend to kiss the mate and all that stuff. And go on. And then it would. Then the grabbing comes in too. And I just didn't know it. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, we've said it before. We said it on the Discord podcast that, like, we're grateful to the fact that, like, we kind of learned manners or whatever. Like,
exactly.
When it came to women.
Yeah,
some
Jesus.
guys didn't, and it's the same thing. Like,
and now it's their time to come out to bloody roost.
Yeah.
But like, we've seen it firsthand. Like, I've seen it in all the nightclubs as far back as the last time I was ever in a nightclub. I've seen that behavior going on. Like, so, and I think even us a couple of years ago would have been more ignorant than we are now, to the point where, like, a couple of years ago, I remember personally when the rugby story came out with them two lads. Yeah, I believed them back then. Yeah. And I remember distinctly believing them, and I was like, oh my god, how horrible would it be if someone pinned something against you that you didn't do? But then, like, now looking back on that, I'm like, well, if you didn't do anything most of the fucking time, nothing is gonna happen to you. I mean, you're gonna be okay. That's not what your biggest fear should be. The biggest fear should be if a girl gets raped by a man.
You wouldn't have been in that situation if you didn't do anything like that.
Exactly. Like, there's 100% he's at fault. Like, man, I was here like, oh my god, they were drunk, they were in the room together. I now know men, and I've grown up a bit and have been out in Dublin, and I've seen men at their worst, and I know for a fact whenever that shit happens now, I believe the girl first.
Well, that's why I always say it's the complete opposite. It's guilty until proven otherwise with that situation.
Yeah, with those situations, it will always be
guilty. But with this,
for me, I've seen enough now, and I've heard enough stories from everyone. Any girl that you know has a story, which is why you should always believe.
Fucking dudes. We know the way,
and we know, and any girl in your life, ask them if they have one story that would never ever happen to us. We couldn't even imagine that happening to us, but has happened to them. That's why you should believe the girl every single time you hear one of these stories, until some whatever shit comes out. But first and foremost, if an accusation has been made, 90% of the time that's going to be correct.
Yeah, it's always mad though. Even like on social media and stuff like that, there's these dudes who come across as such nice dudes and stuff like that, and then a story would come out that they've, like, it's happened on Twitter the last 2 weeks or so, where these dudes who have always been pro women,
real
and
left
like
wing,
that, and then it comes out that they're shady ass dudes.
I think anyone who has to tweet all the time to assure people that they're a good person has some fucking.
But I feel like
there's prime example of virtue signaling.
But I also feel like there is pressure on men to tweet stuff like that.
There's not pressure. I don't think there is pressure. Yeah.
Because whenever there is an issue like this and people are quiet, there's the whole argument where if you're quiet, you're complicit. Yeah,
but and in some ways that's correct. You are being complicit for being quiet. But in other cases, if someone actually gets onto someone about not speaking up on a certain issue, like, or whatever like that, I think that's ridiculous. You're looking for other people to try and justify whatever's going on in this movement. Focus on the people that want to be involved and that are, getting stuff in for anything, for racial matters, for anything like that. Don't shame people for trying to get involved or in any little way they do it. It's like when people were like coming at Kendrick for not speaking up during the George Floyd murders. It's like people have different ways of communicating everything and putting their things out differently. They don't have to all tweet or put up an Instagram story. That's not how activism happens. And then, you might seem like that's what it is on Twitter these days, but believe me, the work is being done out there, educating your mates, not taking bullshit when you see it in nightclubs. That's what you should be doing. That's the only way any change will happen, not sitting behind a screen tweeting while you actually have some demons in your closet.
Like, and that was very apparent when, like, everyone was tweeting about that shit, and then it came out that J. Cole was at these protests and stuff like that, and they're like, oh, like, they found out it was such a surprising thing. That's the only form of activism they know is through social media, but you can be out there and do things as well.
What I just found the funniest during the whole thing was why Irish girls giving out about other people trying to join in to support the movement.
Or the white Irish girls who were explaining what oppression was.
I'm like, why are you the decider of who can join in the movement of racial oppression? What? You have nothing to say here. You can keep tweeting in support, but don't condemn other people for trying to get involved.
No, but the thing is, they were condemning people of colour as well.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
I don't understand
it's
that.
Unbelievable, man. And it just riles me up. Like Twitter, I have started just muting loads of different accounts on Twitter that are constantly putting that like stuff in there.
Well,
like
this is our good segue to the next segment.
Yeah. Like where you have the energy, some people have the energy to wake up, and whenever there's something like controversial trending, I see them tweeting from 9 a.m. that morning until 1 a.m. that night.
Yeah.
And all day I'm like, what have you done with your day, man?
Yeah.
Like, have you honestly sat and all day been tweeting like big paragraphs, throw a few smart words in there to make it look like every single thing that ever happens, you have got your hot take across, you are now an expert in this, and everyone else is an idiot because I have now said all these things.
But it's also the same people that would be best friends with these people for weeks and months and years.
Yeah.
But then one person does something and then they join in their gang mentality and attack that person.
Oh, people on Irish Twitter love a downfall. They are dying for someone to do anything.
It's just so fake.
Anyone who's in...
Yeah, be friends too. Like, they wouldn't even reach them out privately to go, listen, like, they're just so immersed.
As soon as stuff starts getting trending, you'll see the worst tweets come out so fast. And it's, like, horrendous stuff that they can tweet out and just get constant support with, about, like, whatever. And it's so dangerous. But at the end of the day, I think it's now killed itself. It's at the start, it was very detrimental for a lot of people, but now it's gotten so ridiculous that people don't take any notice of those things. Like, it trends for one day and next thing everyone's forgot, and that's bad. You've now ruined the whole purpose of when something is important. It should be getting attention, but now they've ruined it for themselves. Yeah,
it did have some meaning at the start where if someone's doing some fuck shit, they'd call them out, and that would be an important thing. But when you're saturating calling people out over every little thing, it kind of just loses its
importance. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's like now when a cancellation happens, you laugh, you go and that's it. Like, tomorrow everyone will forget about it. It's not actually meaning anything, and it's given more and more power to people to be assholes all the time because they're now like, oh well, they're complete, and it makes people who actually have good fucking beliefs and are out there trying to do good stuff look like we're the crazy left wing attackers of everything. Like, oh, you can't say anything around these snowflakes. That's not it. You're like,
you're not left wing, you're right wing. Like, when really you can be partial.
There's no, like, there's centralism, there's left wing, there's right wing.
Not everything is black and white in this world, but everyone tries to make it as black and white as possible.
That's kind of a segue into what's been happening. Like, I know it's not even important. I just found it funny. With the whole, there was a GoFundMe about this cafe for LGBT people, and it was all Twitter, Irish Twitter. Everyone was surrounded. Everyone loved it. It was great for months. Then it turned out that this person had no business plan, no idea of what they're going to do with all this money. And then it took a few people started to change their opinion, so everyone kind of changed their opinion at the same time. And then this person who got this €8,000 left. They were like, I'm going to delete my Twitter. Cool. So you have $8,000 that these people have donated to you, and you just left Twitter. Mad. No explanation, no nothing.
Mad.
But then you come back a week later. You say, hey guys, I'm going to buy a coffee machine with this money. My mom actually owns businesses, and she's going to invest in it too. It's just like... The art, like, you can literally pretend to be friends with someone, get all this money, and then vanish.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy.
Like, especially when it comes to social media and stuff. Like, some of those people are friends within that app, like within Twitter, and don't know each other in person. Like some of the big Twitter accounts and stuff like that are always tweeting, and it's like, if you actually don't know that person, they could easily do anything like that to you, and completely fool you. Like,
but is it only stranger danger until you go online? Is that what it is?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
You can, like, it's stranger danger out in public. But you can just pour your heart out to someone who you know a week on Twitter. Yeah. And you can tell them all your personal information.
There's so much personal...
Like
people share way too many personal things on social media.
It fundamentally, though, goes from mob mentality. Like, everybody wants to feel like they want to be a part of something.
Oh, yeah.
And then everybody gets, like, caught up in their own echo chamber of, I said this, I need... the X amount of people that always like my tweets to like my tweets.
And there's people who form their own political views due to what other people
are saying. It builds their own economy of
just like, let me wait to see what these are saying, and then I'll join in, and I'll start saying it. So there's no original thought, but you just have to look past them and say, well, that's hilarious. You're all just a carbon copy of each other, and I'm not going to listen to anything that happens. Yeah.
And, like, I'm not a person to say what the moral high ground and what is
what's wrong,
but you can see when something is sketchy, and you can just see the downfall. What's happening now? All these people who are fucking just do your own thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's so sad.
Yeah.
Oh man, the more I think about it, the more it pisses me off. I seen the whole with the riots happening up in the north, and then you just see people posting the shitty opinions.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you. Who are you to say about anything like that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's just hot take Twitter have to make sure that every single thing that ever happens, they've now become an expert on it, because even though it's happened over the last 24 hours, they've known all along about all of this, and they're going to tweet everything that they know, because they've learned a few big words as well. They'll put it in there.
They need to just go on to fucking thesaurus.com,
and they're like,
synonym, tweet the same.
what has this person said?
Shit.
And then say, oh great, and then they all get their likes from each other.
Normalize and ran away with it.
I could do a whole fucking podcast.
So could I.
This.
And we're gonna get cancelled for it.
We are.
Thank you very much.
Fuck at this stage.
Yeah,
we'll probably get cancelled because there's 3 of us in the room. Man.
Yes, I can't wait for the clip of me saying all of this to be then on Twitter for me to be cancelled.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes.
You see the way people's opinions have changed. Just like everyone was saying, oh, if you're meeting up with your friends, you're fucking you're part of the problem. But then 2 weeks later, they'd be sitting in their friends in a park drinking. I'm like,
ridiculous.
We didn't abide by the cover at the start, so why would we do it now?
It's like for people to condemn other people, I find so weird, because it's as if they have just never done stepped a foot wrong in their life, and especially whenever there is an Irish celebrity, any sort of an influencer or anything, anyone who has a high profile, whenever they start trending, people come in right away, join the brigade, and say they've always hated this person, and they've been just waiting for someone who's doing something a bit different to have a fall down. Oh yeah. And once that happens, they are there like a light. And they're all
discussed that first episode of NoCast.
I haven't said much.
I
haven't said much. Like
first episode of NoCast. What did we talk? We talked
about
Irish mentality.
His rhetoric for me, to be honest, has been it's totally redundant to me now, because like people we've said it all the time. We said like people are as quick to tune into a podcast where we say some flagrant shit as much as we say sensible, and we've identified that based on podcasts we did where we said flagrant stuff, and then other podcasts where we've tried understanding and try and get into a level. Like, we've essentially experimented with it, and we've gotten our sample size of listeners and said, okay, like, we are literally going to do a podcast where one day we kind of say some flagrant. And you do notice the listen, and you notice people that will pan in and listen. Like,
well, it's again like what drives interest more?
Podcasts
right now. This podcast would get more listens if it was bad.
Yeah.
No, but
if it was bad.
No, listen,
if we said some bad shit for the next 15 minutes.
Right, podcasts and stand-up comedy, I truly believe, are the two art forms that are the most well kept throughout generations. Okay, like podcast is only starting now. Stand-up comedy through the last generations, and for future generations, this will be the format that people can speak their mind and say things without being attacked, you know. And that's, you don't have to answer to any other form, you know. Stand-up comedy has been going on for literally all of time. Someone has stood up in front of an audience of people and spoke their mind. If you take that away from people, where people can't get up, and no matter what their opinion is, as Dave Chappelle has said himself, I've seen some racist motherfuckers get up on a stage, and I've known that they're not joking. They're not joking. They mean that shit.
Oh, Louis C.K.'s not joking.
But I will sit down with them. I'll talk with them after it. I'll give him that platform for him to speak. Because if I take that away from him and don't let anyone have that there can't be the simplest art form of someone stand up on a stage and speak, or someone gather with a few mics and speak their mind, that's so dangerous. You're taking away people's voices. That is going back to some scary shit that was predated to us. That is where we can't speak without something, you know, we can't, there's different words we can't. And obviously, don't be an asshole. No. Don't say horrible shit all the time. That's not a license for you to go and be a dickhead, but it's a license for you to have an opinion.
It's about finding balance about it. I agree with you that
you should be able to speak what you
should be freedom of speech. It doesn't matter whether it's left, right, centralist, anything. There should be freedom.
Otherwise, it's total erasure.
It's about, like, these people who are right wing can have their freedom of speech. It's just about what platform they have to
and I can call them a dickhead for doing that, and that's fine. I mean, that is completely fine. They can call me a dickhead back, but I will let them speak. I'll have someone have their dumbass opinion. I'll hear it out. I might not agree with it. They won't agree with mine. But at the end of the day, we both have it, and we're meant to both have it. That's the way the world is.
I'm a big fan of saying this ain't it, and I'll just leave it at that. It's when people say this ain't it. In fact, we should deplatform this guy because this is so
where does he
off
work? word.
I didn't
What
agree.
colours is this man
Like
go
that
to?
is that's so scary when that shit happens, when they're going right for the employers, right for your college.
But this
you
is
know?
without any explanation.
Yeah,
this
and
is just one source.
And it's like, so what's your solution? You're just going to ruin this guy's life. And I don't want to sound like a fucking apologist for some of these bastards who have had their lives ruined.
I'm saying
I'm talking about like any old person who
Yeah.
puts up a dumb old thing, starts getting cancelled. People are all
Now,
emailing there.
if you deserve to have that shit done,
Yeah,
you deserve
100%. But if you've fucked up once, you've said one dumb thing online without being a bad person in real life or anything like that, and that starts getting traction, you're told, people start emailing your college, your like friends and all that. I mean, that is so scary. What? Because after tomorrow, you'll forget about this.
Yeah.
But they won't. Their whole life will be ruined tomorrow, and they have no education, no job, and
blacklisted.
And you'll completely forget about them in your oblivious Twitter life. But for them, their life might be ruined. They might commit suicide.
I don't think that they understand how impactful it is when they do shit like
and
that.
it can be, especially when you get colleges and jobs involved and stuff like that. If you disagree with someone online, fair enough if they've done something really bad, and you've seen something really bad, I'm all for calling out bastards on their shit.
Yeah.
But if someone has done something that you don't agree with, or has said something that's nasty or whatever online, that's not cause for you to go and get all
Not
these
even
other
if it's
things
nasty,
involved.
if it's something you just don't agree with.
Yeah, I mean, completely speak them down 100%. Tell them how much of a dickhead they are. Fine, confront them. All that horrible shit behind the scenes, I mean, that is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Unless you're a racist bastard or a rapist or anything like that. I mean, then you deserve everything you get. But I'm talking about everyday people who fuck up.
Well, like, even doubling down on what David said before, with the podcast, we tried to do these kind of more leftist type views where we discussed these issues that were going on. Nobody gave a fuck about it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's the same people that would be saying men aren't speaking up
about mental health. Yeah.
But no, not even that. Even
sorry, but just in general. Yeah. Sorry.
Like with the kind of men doing weird shit.
Yeah.
When we spoke up about it, no one cared.
Yeah, it's like, man, shut the fuck up.
But
it's not your place to talk.
But like, even when
we want men to.
But even when people are crying out,
people
saying more men should speak on this. But when we do speak on it, they don't care. So it's like, where do you sit? But we do an episode and we talk shit, and it gets double, triple the views that won't get.
Yeah.
So what are you supposed to do as a platform? And that's
exactly. Yeah. And like Piers Morgan has his platform there that he's done that shit with, and he's now, because of cancellers, has got himself more successful than he's ever fucking been. The biggest arsehole on the planet
more exposure.
is now more wanted by people because of what you've done. Donald Trump is he got the most votes ever, besides Joe Biden, obviously. But like, that's terrifying. If Donald Trump went up against any other presidential candidate in history in this election alone, and it wasn't Joe Biden, he would have won by a landslide, because of the people attacking people's opinions all the time. When you shout people down and back them into a corner, all they're going to do is fight back.
I'm only waiting for that to happen in Ireland.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the first person politically to
Gemma O'Doherty type, but like a more sophisticated
more
type.
structured version of her.
I'm terrified of that.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
It's on the rise in this
France,
country.
you see it happening in Germany.
Every other European country. The Front National of France and all that. The Le Pens.
Yeah.
Over here, I'm telling you, like, Gemma O'Doherty is crazy, so she won't catch on. She'll have all the loonies. But there's enough people who you speak to every day in the street. You pass by every second person.
You can see these protests happening in town.
People more and more agreeing. And if someone sophisticated young guy comes along, straight white guy from Ireland, maybe down the country or something, you know, a real, I've built myself back up.
Big
I'm a big. I don't like the immigrants coming in here. I don't like the gays. I don't like everyone cancelling people. They will take off, and they will get way more votes than you think. It's terrifying. It's very scary.
And it's again like, you learn this from history, where it's like, you see things happen in history, and you're like, why didn't they just stop it?
Yeah.
In hindsight's great. But shit like that's happening right now.
Like right now, we should. There's a lot of things that we should be stopping. We're gonna look back in about 20 years and say, why didn't we stop it? But we're powerless at the moment. Like, that's the way it's going. And the more that the left, which we would all be on, you know, we're on the left, as much as we fucking, some of the people we hate to be associated with, when they do the crazy shit, that's going to bring out more crazies. And what happens when there's just crazy on crazy, non-stop fighting with no ever compromise, no option of peace? Shit gets out of hand, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, it might be a pessimistic view, but I think it's realistic more than anything.
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting to go this direction.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
you've been sitting observing.
Yeah,
it's Mania weekend, baby. We're looking for a fight.
I know, yeah.
I need to go toilet.
I need to pee too. Let's pause.
Yeah.
All right, the political podcast is back.
Yeah, we're back. the far right is coming. Like, everyone be prepared.
Fucking sheep, a lot of snowflake generations.
Snowflakes, yeah.
Yeah, I think we've kind of discussed everything we want to discuss. Do you have anything else on the agenda?
Yeah, it's
Dave?
gonna be crazy funny in this podcast, but it's been everything.
You
but
have like another 5 to 10 minutes to just crack every joke you have.
me, Kelvin, and David, and we're sitting in the shed. I wish that I could have a girl. I wish I could get head. I'm only a kid and I've been so lonely for about 23 years.
You've said you've been lonely a lot.
I'm so lonely. I just sit and drink my beers.
Ooh.
Everyone here
Freestyle.
wants to party. Me and Kelvin having the party with David coming. All the girls humming. Them boys running from the cops because we caused trouble. Everyone wants to catch us on the double salary. That's what we make. Lots of money, and then we eat steak in the house.
I thought he was going to cut it off a long time ago.
Yeah, thank you.
Mine was flowing there.
Right,
No,
Dave.
I don't have anything left, no.
Well, I've had a lot of fun today.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fun?
me too, yeah.
I'm sure we'll have you on again sometime in the future. Maybe. We'll think about it.
Okay.
No, we actually won't have you on again.
That's okay.
Okay, I'm done talking right now. David,
Listen, I'm done.
Am I wrapping up?
you wrap up the podcast. I'm done.
It's been NoCast Podcast.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That's the most you said today.
Yeah, I know.
All right, guys. Peace out.
Peace.
All right, we need to take some.